President William Ruto is in his second day of his 5-day working tour of the Mount Kenya region, and my colleague Abdiaziz Hashim has been following up on that. We have that news plus much more. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Bentro Njue. Lensa Odingo is my colleague handling the sign language interpretation at the bottom of your screen. We begin in Maua in Meru, where President William Ruto has issued a stern warning to miraa cartels in Meru County, stating that their days are numbered, as he vowed to ensure farmers reap maximum benefits from the crop. Speaking in Maua, Meru County, during his second day of his Mount Kenya tour, the president has tasked his second-in-command, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to ensure the sector is streamlined and address the farmers' concerns. The president has also revealed that he dismantled the cartels in the coffee industry and ensured farmers now earn higher prices for their crops.
Okay.
Urafiki nimetengeneza na watu wa Mulima. Ni urafiki ambayo tumetengeneza kwa miaka karibu 20. Hakuna mtu atakuja kuvunja urafiki ambaye mimi nimetengeneza na watu wa Mulima. Na siwezi kukubali mtu yeyote kuja kati yetu na ile kazi tumefanya kwa pamoja. Tutasimama ngangari, na mimi nitahakikisha kwamba maslahi yenu, maslahi ya Wakenya wote, tumeunganisha Kenya na Kenya isonge mbele. Ya kwamba kazi yangu kama kiongozi wa taifa ni kuunganisha Wakenya wote kutoka sehemu zote, kutoka jamii zote, kutoka pande zote, kwa sababu umoja ni nguvu. Na mimi nawauliza watu wa Meru ya kwamba ili tuweze kufaulu kama taifa la Kenya, tunahitaji uwezo na nguvu na mafikira ya watu wote.
Kwa hiyo broad based government ile ambayo umeingiza marafiki zetu viongozi wote wa Kenya, Mzeka Lentore na Peter Munya Gatira waingie hapo.
Kuna wazee wawili wa mji huu, Peter Munya na rafiki yangu Franklin Mzeka Lentore. Hawa viongozi wawili tayari wako na mazungumzo na mimi, na tuko na kampango. Nyinyi tulizeni poli, mambo iko sawa sawa. Watu wa kateli ya miraa, ninawaambia mambo yao ni matatu. Mambo yao ni mangapi? Either wakome na kateli ya miraa, ama mambo ya pili tuwapeleke jela, ama mambo ya tatu waende ile safari.
Hii kwa sababu wewe ndiye amiri jeshi mkuu, delegati ya cartels ya miraa, nitapita nao asubuhi na mapema. Nitakusaidia kazi, sitabishana na wewe, kwa sababu kazi yangu sio kubishana na rais. Kazi yangu ni kusaidia rais. Nisaidia rais.
Basi hiyo ya kateli ya hawa wa miraa, Bwana Deputy President, pita na wao. Ama namna gani?
And from Maua back to the capital, Nairobi, where the Nelson Makanda-led IEBC selection panel has this morning interviewed Engineer Collins Juma, who is the current chair of Siaya County Public Board, and Dennis Otieno, who is a governance expert in the search for the commissioners of the elections body. The two are tasked to explain how their competencies would help to alleviate the challenges facing the electronic transmission of votes from polling stations to the national tallying station.
What would you do to make sure that the transmission of election results is transparent, is efficient, and is verifiable?
Now, when we start transmitting the results, we always think of, oh, the system failed. During the procurement of those systems, do we ask the hard questions? Can this system work in adverse conditions like cold weather, hot weather, humidity, all that? Should be asked about technology. If we can improve on that and on our transmission system with the local service providers like Safaricom and all that, we should be able to get it right.
How do you think that your NDI role and patronage will play in this new role should you succeed?
Now, if you look at the participation rates of the voter turnout in the last election, at 65, again, that is the least in 2 decades in this country. And I think we need people who can actually look at it, build policies that can address it, design strategies that are geared towards addressing it, and then offer the oversight necessary really to achieve it.
Elsewhere, the University of Nairobi Students Association is calling for swift action in appointing a new vice-chancellor. This comes amidst ongoing leadership challenges at the institution. Further, the students' body wants the Public Service Commission and the government to step in and support the University Council in managing its affairs.
University of Nairobi Students Association now want the government and the Public Service Commission to quickly appoint a new vice-chancellor, citing growing concerns over a leadership vacuum and unresolved governance issues.
The selection and the appointment of the Vice-Chancellor should be made promptly because Public Service Commission has already done the interviews so that we can have substantive leaders to run and do the administrative tasks of the university.
The student leaders are warning the vacuum is affecting university administration and leaving students without proper representation.
Tuko na changamoto nyingi ambazo hatuwezi kuziwasilisha maana kuna uongozi mwafaka.
There are people with vested interest outside the confines of the university. Some we have seen in the members of parliament and the education committee who are coming to say that there is chaos in University of Nairobi. It is the reforms that were instituted by council that helped University of Nairobi stay afloat for the past 3 years.
For the past 2 weeks, students have been without a voice following the suspension of elections initially scheduled for March 2025. The elections were altered by a court ruling in Siaya, leaving students without official representation and making it difficult for them to raise grievances.
Maana mimi kama rais contract yangu ilisha wiki juzi. Mpaka sasa sijalipwa salary yote. Hapa niko hapa kama pro bono. So it's high time tuko na an ADR, alternative dispute resolution, between ile high court ya Siaya na viongozi ambao wametendewa unyama. Tuongee na tukubaliane ni vipi tutasonga mbele.
The unrest comes after a recent visit by the National Assembly Education Committee, which uncovered that the leadership conflict has resulted in 16 ongoing court cases. The committee is working to resolve the standoff between the university's council and its management.
The last time they were here in 2024, they did their discussions. We have never seen a report or the findings.
Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, property of unknown value was destroyed following an inferno at 3 shops in Limuru town. The fire is reported to have started at one of the shops before quickly spreading owing to the strong winds. The business owners are now calling on the Kiambu County government to assist them in restarting their businesses. They further called on investigative agencies to fast-track the probe to unearth the cause of the fire, citing an increase in cases of fire incidents in various businesses in the county.
Patwa na ajali kubwa. Nimepoteza vitu kama za haba milioni. Niko na wafanyikazi kama 6 wote wamepoteza. Mimi mwenyewe sina la kufanya. Ninaomba sana gavana wa hapa utusaidie, sisi hatuna jambo lingi.
Miezi 2-3 Kiambu tumekuwa na mioto mingi sana. I think ni mzuri county government, OCS Limuru, DCI watusaidie kufanya investigation na wakimaliza wanatupatia ripoti. Jua watu wengi wanabaki na maswali mingi, naweza omba wakijua ni nini inaendelea tuweze kusaidiana ili tuweze kuzuia hizi moto.
The Kenya Peasants Farmers Association is urging the government to prioritize safeguarding indigenous seeds which are at the verge of extinction. The association regretted that policies in place are not protecting the right of small-scale farmers who are the majority in the country. The group says they are working to safeguard indigenous seeds to have started and have started reintroducing planting of variety of indigenous food crops around schools in the country, as well as pushing for the adoption of agroecology form of farming. Training forums to sensitize farmers on how to differentiate between GMO seeds and the indigenous ones are also underway.
We had petitioned the GMO, and still we are for our indigenous seeds, and we want our indigenous seeds and our sound as peasant farmers to be heard with the county government, so that we stop the GMO seeds from coming to our country.
And knowledge is power. We are seeing that the indigenous seeds are ending, as you've said. Now we want to show them that they can preserve the seeds. They have the power to access the seeds. They have the power to own the seeds.
Also, as a way of combating GMO, we've said that we are going to establish clusters in all the areas where GMO testing and practices are taking place. Those are places like Kitale, those are places like Lupe in Busia, those are places like Naivasha.
Now, parents have been urged to take advantage of the April holiday to nurture their children's talents through core curricular activities to enable them to realize their out-of-class abilities. These were remarks made by several speakers during the launch of the Sports Academy at the Rofin Group of Schools, which aims to improve learners' talents. Learners will be able to engage in various activities, among them football and swimming. They urged parents to support their children with sports talent, saying it was one of the best-paying ventures in the world.
Watoto wetu wana talanta, manake hakuna mtoto ambaye amezaliwa ana talanta. Na kitu tunachofanya mara mingi tunachelewa kabisa kuwapatia nafasi ama kuwapatia ile platform ya kuweza kujieleza kitalanta ama kufumbua talanta zao mapema. Na Rofin International School naona kidogo wao kabisa wameshika huo mwelekeo.
Wakati huu kama wazazi wote kule nyumbani, wakati huu wa likizo, tafadhali himiza watoto wetu waweze kuingia kwenye michezo. Ingawaje sio kuogelea peke yake, kuna mchezo wa mipira, soka na michezo mingine yote ambayo inaweza kuwasaidia kuwajenga kimaisha, kimwili na pia kimawazo.
When it gets to the time, the point of transition, the CBC also provides to learners who are able to excel in sports, and that's why we are saying that those who are probably struggling with content absorption in classroom, they can still excel in sports.
Moving on, Principal Secretary for Labour and Skills Development, Shadrach Mwadime, says that the government has established the Seafarers Wages Council to protect and safeguard the rights of the group in the country. The PES, while officially inaugurating the council, noted that among other duties, it will act as the government watchdog to ensure that issues about wages and violations of human and labour rights of seafarers are addressed. He added that the council has also been tasked with identifying ways of creating jobs for the youth in the sector, sentiments echoed by the outgoing Principal Secretary for Shipping and Maritime Affairs, Geoffrey Kaikuto.
Hii ni barasa maalum ambalo ni la mabaharia. Alitazungumzia mambo ya watu wengine, bali ni masuala ya mabaharia. Hasa zile shida wanazipata kwa upande wa malipo na wale waajiri wao.
Sasa mabaharia walikuwa wanaweza kudhulumiwa bila serikali kuwa na sheria na sheria na wala kufuatilizia, kama kukiwa na pengine ubaguzi wa rangi ndani ya meli, ubaguzi wa jinsia, ubaguzi wa aina yote ile.
Ndio kwamba tu kwa shipping company zetu ambazo ziko hapa nchini Kenya, ambazo zinafanya kazi pengine kwa bahari yetu, bahari hii Hindi, pamoja na ziwa zetu ambazo tuko nazo, pengine ni ziwa Victoria, pengine ni ziwa Naivasha, pengine ni ziwa Baringo, mahali kokote ambapo basi hizi shipping companies ziko, tutahakikisha maslahi ya vijana wetu imeangaliwa ipasavyo.
In health, Bomet County government has upgraded Sigor Hospital that is expected to ease access and the cost of treatment for residents seeking specialized services such as minor surgeries and admission to an intensive care unit. Speaking during the launch of the theatre, ICU facilities and radiology department at the health facility, Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok said his administration is committed to ensure success of the universal health coverage in the county. This as Joseph Towet, an administrator at Sigor Sub-County Hospital, said the upgraded Level 4 hospital will play an integral part in dispensing medical services and reprieve to the residents who have for years been referred to other county facilities such as Longisa and Tenwek.
Tumepata claims za how much? 4 million. Na hiyo pesa itatumika hapa. Ile reimbursement inakuja kwa facility, itawasaidia kununua dawa, kuwalipa wafanyikazi, and even to improve on the infrastructure. Hii hospitali yetu itasaidika kwa sababu ya ile reimbursement, usaidizi ambayo utapata kupitia kwa ile insurance inaitwa SHA.
Tunajua sub-county ya Chebalungu inapakana na Narok. Kwa hivyo most of our patients hapa upande hii inatoka upande ya Narok, upande ya MRT na hizo upande zingine hata upande ya Mulot iko karibu, na tunajua hii project inasaidia watu wengi sana hapa. Tumekuwa tunarefer our patients waende Longisa, wengine wanaenda hata Tenwek, lakini sasa hii ikifanya kazi na ikiendelea vizuri, watu wengi watapata usaidizi.
In other news, over 100 elderly women aged 65 years and above from Mikindani, Jomvu Sub-County in Mombasa County have benefited from a free medical camp courtesy of a non-governmental organization. The event not only provided crucial healthcare services but also offered emotional support to the elders suffering from chronic illnesses and social isolation. Stakeholders urged the elderly to ensure they take their diet, medication and physical exercise seriously to avoid lifestyle diseases.
Hawa wamama wengi wao wako na chronic diseases. Wengine wako na cancer, wengine wako na different health problem. So nikasema nikifanya hii event ya leo ya wazee, pia niweke mambo ya medical camp ili wapate kuonana na madaktari one on one. Kwa sababu wengi wao hawana family hapa town na kuwashughulikia ni ngumu. So kwa kufanya hii kitu nilikuwa nataka kufanya mulo nao kidogo, na pia tunawaimbia song ile ya kuwapatia wakuwe na joyful, wasione kuwa wametengwa, hawana family wenye wanaweza waweka karibu.
Ukisikia wimbo kama pengine ni wimbo wa Mungu ama ni wimbo wa kawaida tu, kama mama wazee pia unasikia unagusika, pia kama una mawazo fulani yanakutoka unajisikia pia unachangamka, unafurahika.
Moving on, a section of families of victims of the Garissa University attack are appealing to the government to release the 3 million shillings meant for compensation. While addressing the media, the families from Bungoma County expressed their frustrations over the delayed compensation more than 10 years after the attack, despite the court order for the release of the funds to the families of the victims.
In 2015 wanafunzi alikuwa hapa kwa hiyo mzee David Wanjala aliwawa na Alshababu na alikuwa University Garissa. Tokea wakati ile kutushika hapa tukawa na tishio na wanafunzi wa universities. Huyo mzee akiuliza hii serikali haisaidii sisi na watoto walikufa.
So just on behalf of those parents, I would like to beg the government to make true what the court made as a ruling and compensate those parents for those lives lost.
Itakuwa ni nafuu kwa serikali kutufikiria na kuweza kutupatia hela hizo. Ingawa haiwezi kumrejesha mtoto wetu, haiwezi kumpa uhai, lakini itakuwa ni kitulizo kwa roho zetu.
To the war on drugs, where police officers from the Kikuyu Sub-County Police Division in Kiambu County, led by Officer Commanding Station Meshak Mulwa, have arrested notorious drug trafficker Ezekiel Ngugi, also known as Congo, in the Karinde area of Dagoretti. Ngugi was allegedly transporting over 1,200 rolls of bang. Ngugi was subsequently charged with drug trafficking for violation of the law. This arrest comes just over a month after a violent demonstration by Dagoretti market traders in response to the murder of one of their own by suspected drug dealers in mid-February. The Kikuyu Law Court magistrate has ordered that the suspect be remanded for 14 days to allow the investigating officer to compile evidence after the prosecution opposed the suspect's request for bail, citing similar case pending before the Kibera Law Court.
Masaa 24 dawa ishe para ground, serikali imeshindwa kufanya kazi.
Hiyo uwanja ishe na ishe kabisa, hizo madawa waende nazo huko, hatutaki. Ni watoto wengi hapa wameharibika sana juu hizi madawa, ndio.
Court is inclined to call for a pre-bail report mentioned on the 14th of April before court 1 for further directions.
Away from that, education stakeholders in northern Kenya are calling for urgent interventions to support visually impaired learners. Speaking at Njue Integrated and Junior Secondary School in Isiolo County, the We Care founder Amos Wako called on parents to support and embrace their visually impaired children, ensuring they have equal opportunities in education and life. Teachers and community leaders stressed the urgent need for affordable Braille learning materials and improved learning conditions.
Mwenye aoni, mwenye hataweza kuna physically challenged deaf, wafai kufichwa, wanafaa wapeleke shule kama wengine, wasome, wajisaidie kwa maisha kwa kupitia masomo. Kwa ajili education is the only key to life.
Hii shule ni ya watoto kama hawa, usiweke mtoto nyumbani, mlete shule na atahudumiwa. Tuko na walimu wa kutosha wa kusaidia watoto wako na ulemavu wa macho.
Nina appeal tu kwa Ministry of Education waweze kuconsider kuharakisha vifaa ambavyo tunahitaji kama vitabu, kama ni kutufikishia, na pia ningeomba well wishers watu support kupurchase vitabu ambavyo hatuna.
Now, infrastructure gaps, lack of access to basic needs, academic resources, shortages, and high dropout rates have been identified as key issues facing the education sector in Busia County. This came to light during the Russian cultural workshops across 3 schools in the county, with a resolve to assist them navigate the challenges to ensure learning outcomes. And that story from Busia County takes us to a fast break at about 23 minutes past the top of the hour. We're back with more, including the latest from the world of sports.
Ndoa, watu kwa karibia kashachumbiana, ametuana bado ndoa umwasambaratisha. Anatuambia kwamba tuseme hivi, Allah anasemaje? Anasema innal munafiqina fi ad-darki al-asfali minan nar wa lan tajida lahum nasira illa alladhina tabu wa aslahu. Yani wewe umefanya uovu, umefanya unafiki, pengine watu ni wanandoa wamekaa muda, wana miaka, paka wanawajukumua sambaratisha kwa unafiki wako, kwa uongo wako ulioka sumu yako. Alafu Allah anaelezea kwamba wasipotubia tu kama innal munafiqina fi ad-darki al-asfali minan nar, watakuwa fi ad-darki al-asfali minan nar, watakuwa katika kina cha chini cha ndani ya moto wa jahannam.
لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا
Bliss of new beginnings to the trials of commitment. This is a celebration of resilience, passion, and the power of togetherness. Join us as we unravel real-life stories, because every journey deserves to be cherished, for better, for worse. On KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. Let's make sense of shillings and cents in business. Digital lenders have lauded the government's recent implementation of the revised regulatory framework, which has seen the creation of a more transparent and structured environment for digital lending. Speakers during the 2025 Think Business Digital Lenders Awards Gala held last night say with a growing number of Kenyans increasingly turning to digital loans, the sector has been marked by rapid expansion, making regulation a crucial aspect of sustainable growth.
A recently released report by Digital Financial Services Association of Kenya shows that Kenyans borrow 500 million shillings per day, amounting to 15 billion shillings monthly via digital lending services. This, according to industry experts, is attributed to the consumer protection improvements and improved regulations by the government. Rakesh Keshyap, Little Pesa's managing director, says the current regulatory framework has significantly reduced the previous barriers to entry, ensuring a more inclusive and competitive market.
The default is the main thing here, because the economy is not doing that well. There are challenges. How we have encountered this is we are focusing on salaried persons only. Salaried persons, the default is much less. We are having a default rate of 5 to 6% maximum.
During the Think Business Digital Lenders Awards Gala, Little Pesa won the overall Best Digital Lender Award, while Umoja Ufanisi won the Most Affordable Lender Award.
The government sector, I can say, like the government support to the digital lenders quite, we can say, like quite good compared to some other country. But although there are like some areas to improve.
Meanwhile, FinCorp Credit was crowned the best digital lender for individuals and small businesses. The awards were aimed at promoting a best practice in provision of digital loans. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Small and medium-sized entrepreneurs should embrace technology to enhance their operations. Siuntura Group Managing Director Chris Evans says advanced communication solutions enhanced by artificial intelligence will increase the visibility of startups and drive workplace innovation that will address local challenges. UK-based tech firm Siuntura has launched the first of its kind cybersecurity and AI-powered experience hub center in East Africa to empower businesses make informed tech investment that drive efficiency, innovation, and competitiveness.
As a world, there's a lot of transition and transformation going on, and now AI has actually not just become a buzzword, but it's something that many organizations need now to consider, because now what we are doing as Siuntura, we're a global technology company, and we're helping clients build practical use cases so that they can see how they can unlock value by embracing technology. So one of our focus areas is building and leveraging AI models and building solutions that can help them streamline processes, reduce cost, make them more effective and more agile, but also looking at how we can also migrate them to cloud, and what are some of the products and services and benefits they can actually get.
Through our solutions, a lot of smaller businesses do not have the manpower or necessarily the knowledge to plan, to set up solutions to make sure that the risks are minimised at the outset. What we're doing is working with those partners as their outsourced IT partner, with our knowledge, our experience, and seeing it not just in that customer. We see the attacks and everything else running across the piece, so we can predict and hopefully protect by building the solution for that customer.
President Bola Tinubu has dismissed the board of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, including its group chief executive officer Mele Kyari and the board chairman Pius Akinyelure. According to the presidential spokesperson, in the restructuring is aimed at repositioning NNPC Limited for greater productivity and efficiency in line with global best practices.
As part of the NNPC board overhaul, Bayo Ojulari has been appointed as the new group chief executive officer, replacing Mele Kyari. Additionally, Ahmad Musa Kida has been named the non-executive chairman, succeeding Pius Akinyelure. While Adedapo Segun has been confirmed as the company's new chief financial officer. In line with PIA, President Bola Tinubu has also appointed 6 non-executive directors to the NNPC board, ensuring representation from the country's geopolitical zones. President Tinubu expects the new board to elevate NNPC's share of crude oil refining output to 200,000 barrels by 2027 and reaching 500,000 by 2030. The Tinubu administration targets raising oil production to 2 million barrels daily by 2027 and 3 million daily by 2030. Concurrently, the government wants gas production jacked to 8 billion cubic feet daily by 2027 and 10 billion cubic feet by 2030. Elsewhere, the government in Mauritius will prioritize measures to stabilize its currency and draw foreign investors as it seeks to revive its beleaguered stock exchange. The Indian Ocean island nation's rupee has weakened about 32% against the dollar over the past decade through 2024. The country is grappling with a wide trade deficit, exacerbated by the lack of foreign currency during the coronavirus pandemic. Finally, Uganda has implemented its steepest power price cut in 2 decades, driven partly by a strengthening currency that has lowered the cost of imported fuel and power plant components. The Electricity Regulatory Authority announced that electricity tariffs have been reduced by an average of 14% for the quarter ending June 30th. The Ugandan shilling's strength has been fueled by a surge in commodity exports, including coffee, helping to slow inflation and allowing the central bank to maintain stable interest rates.
In sports, a 3-day referees clinic will set the ball rolling for the 2025 Brookside Secondary School Term 1 games to be held this April in Mombasa County. The clinics are aimed at aligning the referees with the new rules ahead of the games to be held from the 8th of this month, and which received a sponsorship boost of 30 million shillings from Brookside Dairy.
Over 2,000 student athletes are expected to converge in Mombasa County for the Brookside Secondary School Term 1 Games, which will be held from the 8th to 12th of this month. The games will be preceded by a 3-day referees clinic aimed at equipping the men and women in charge of the games with the new rules governing the sporting disciplines involved.
We take pride as a company to identify with an event that serves to bring out and nurture the sporting prowess of our youth, even as we seek to mainstream healthy lifestyle, such as through consumption of quality milk, which is also a prerequisite for excellence in sports.
The games, which will feature more than 5 disciplines including athletics, basketball, handball, swimming and hockey, were today boosted to a tune of 30 million shillings from Brookside, of which 21 million shillings will go directly to kitting of the teams and rewards.
Participation in sports comes with many benefits, including improved physical health, mental well-being and social skills for our youth. It also helps participants to foster important life skills like teamwork, perseverance, and leadership.
This initiative marks yet another milestone in our collective efforts to promote sports, education, and holistic development among our young learners. Let us use this opportunity to showcase discipline, sportsmanship, and teamwork, values that define not only great athletics but also great citizens.
All the sporting disciplines will begin on Tuesday after the opening ceremony, apart from cross-country, which will be held from Wednesday, and swimming competitions to start on Thursday.
As a ministry, we remain steadfast in our mission to provide a well-rounded education that nurtures both intellectual and extracurricular excellence. We recognize that sports and academics are complementary, and through partnerships like this, we continue to create opportunities that unlock the full potential of our students.
The games will be played at Shimolatewa and Shanzu Teachers Training College, with a closing ceremony set for the 12th of this month in Mombasa.
The time we had for KBC Lunchtime News this afternoon, but a quick one. Arsenal yesterday beat Team Fulham in a London derby 2-1 by Mikel Merino and Bukayo Saka coming back from injury after 101 days. In other games, Manchester United lost to Nottingham Forest, who are chasing the UEFA Champions League. They lost to 1-0, a goal by Anthony, the winger of Nottingham Forest. Today, in today's fixtures, we also have the Merseyside derby, Everton meeting team Liverpool, who are gunning for Champions League spot and also the English Premier League. More of these and others, kindly check out our social media spaces for more. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Njue. My colleague has been Lensa Odingo on the bottom right of your screen. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon.
Games are designed to fuel addiction, and designers use psychological tactics and gaming mechanisms to trick us into spending a lot of cash. We'll show you what to look out for. Also on the show, if you're constantly posting about your kids online, you're putting their data and privacy at risk. It's as simple as that. Oversharing can make children vulnerable to harassment and predators. And Tesla has finally revealed its robo-taxi, but competitors have already hit the streets. There's no doubt that robo-taxis are far from going mainstream, but why is that? These topics are moving the tech world. Ever found yourself saying just one more round while gaming, or felt excited to open that next loot box? That's all by design. Worldwide, more than 80% of internet users play video games. In a systematic review of recent studies, 5% of participating gamers were found to have a gaming addiction. Games like Roblox or Fortnite are designed to keep us hooked and spending. So here's what to look out for. Rewards and streaks. In-game rewards like badges or points trigger dopamine, your brain's feel-good hormone, which makes us want more. Games reward progress and repetitive actions like logging in daily. It's called building a streak. You'll want to keep hold of it, so you keep coming back. And that's where games can cash in, by letting you pay to restore a lost streak or progress faster. But there's something else that makes gaming companies even more cash than streaks. Loot boxes. Here's the deal. You spend real money to get random in-game rewards. It could be a rare skin or a powerful item, but the odds? Not great. It's called variable reward, and it's extremely effective. You never know when you'll hit the jackpot, so you just keep going. Researchers say they can be dangerous, especially for kids who struggle to recognize and resist this mechanism. Loot boxes are a big part of what's called microtransactions. You pay a small amount, say just €1, for each loot box. It doesn't seem like much, but it adds up pretty quick when you're chasing that rare item. A study by researchers at Central Queensland